Hey guys, today I thought I would make a video going through different ways that social media can help you achieve your powerlifting and fitness goals, and also through some ways that it can hinder those goals. So when you're involved in powerlifting or the fitness world, social media interaction to some extent feels unavoidable. Um, Most people involved in strength sports have some sort of social media presence, and it can be easy to get caught up in this. At the same time, there are some ways in which social media can be an extremely useful tool, whether you're just a beginner or are an advanced lifter who is ready to start competing. So at the same time, there's an ugly side to social media that can at best lead to some embarrassing moments, as I have found out the hard way, and at worst, it can actually be detrimental to your performance. Okay, so the first way that social media can be a useful tool for strength sports is for teaching you the basics when you first begin lifting. So at this point, pretty much everything is available online somewhere. You can follow fitness pages on Facebook for links to articles and programming sites. When you're just starting out, these can be great tools for educating yourself about the basics. You can also find people to follow on Instagram who post their entire workouts, and videos on YouTube with information on pretty much every possible topic you could think of. YouTube is also a great tool for learning proper form on exercises that are unfamiliar to you. To this day, when I'm introduced to a new strength idea or a new topic involving fitness, I will soak up as much information on it using social media, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, as possible until I feel like I know everything that there is to know about that topic. You can also post your own workouts on social media and get feedback from more experienced lifters, especially when you're just starting out. However, it is also important to remember that this can also backfire. So some people's tips and advice will come in the form of criticism, whether this criticism is warranted or not. I personally face this type of criticism pretty much every time I post anything on social media, whether it's a picture of myself or a video of my lifting. When I first started lifting, I would take every single criticism that came my way to heart. I would obsess over comments people would make about my form to the point that it would actually negatively affect my lifting. And the next time I would go to do that lift, I'd be so up in my head that it would just make things worse instead of making it better. That being said, while social media can be a useful tool for gaining information and feedback, when you're just starting out, it's also important to take everything that you hear with a grain of salt, especially when it comes to criticism, or when it comes in the form of thinly veiled criticism and insults. So the second way that social media can be a useful tool is by providing you with encouragement and motivation. So one of the things that I love about strength sports is that no matter how good you get, there's always going to be someone out there who's better than you. I love following other female powerlifters on social media, especially the ones who are just at the next level, like a whole scale way above me. I get so psyched up from their success and their huge numbers, and watching them put those numbers up really motivates me to push myself further. However, sometimes I get a little carried away, which has actually led to my most embarrassing moment basically ever in my entire life. So I was at work one Monday morning this summer doing my usual scroll through the Girls Who Powerlift hashtag. I was liking things like crazy because so many girls had posted so much wonderful content that day. I was in the liking zone where my brain is only half engaged with what I was liking because I've been doing it for so long. As you might know, the dangerous thing about doing that is that if someone, or sometimes people, sneak other content into hashtags where it doesn't really belong, and this was the case that morning. I accidentally clicked on some, shall we say, adult, not safe for work content as I was doing this, and it came blaring so loudly out of my phone for basically everyone in the office to hear. I literally turned beet red, and it is a favorite story for all of my coworkers to this day. So never forget, phone on silent does not include Instagram. Remember this in class, remember it at work, remember it always. So the third way that social media can be useful for strength sports is by giving you a way to keep an eye on the competition. This may sound bad in a way, but realistically, most people do it to some extent. Before a competition, I would be lying if I said that I don't look up some of the other girls I'd be competing against to see what I'm up against. However, it's important to remember that most strength sports, and powerlifting in particular, is more about competing with yourself than competing directly against others. While it may be tempting to obsess over the other people you will be up against and where you'll end up placing, it really is you versus you at every competition that you do. Realistically, you're only going to lift what you're physically able to lift, and no amount of watching what other people can lift and keeping track of it is going to magically make you lift more. So focus on improving your own lifts and total, and if there are people there who wipe the floor with you, look up to them, use it as motivation, and use it as a way to keep pushing yourself to always get better. Anyways, guys, sorry for the long video, but this is a topic that I could really go on and on about. I hope that you enjoyed it. Who do you guys follow on social media for motivation? I would love to hear, because I always love finding new people to follow and use as motivation for myself. How do you use it as a tool to improve yourself? Have you ever had an embarrassing moment like mine because of it? I hope I'm not the only one out there who has felt like the biggest dork when something like that happened. I would love to hear about all of this in the comments below. Thanks, guys. Bye.